What Future said, I tell the truth to my I lie to my bitch.
Yeah, I ride for my I lie to my bitch.
The reason why a lot of y'all don't like me, and the reason why a lot of y'all don't like men that have this particular politic for respecting black women and for pushing the progressive black women is because it's seen as a dishonor or betrayal of patriarchy, a dishonor or betrayal of the domination that we supposed to have over women. These hoes for everybody.
Appreciate you, editor.
Yeah, man. Education is elevation. I'm a treat her like I meet her. If I meet her like a hoe, I'm gonna treat her like a hoe. If I meet her like a lady, I'm gonna treat her like a lady. I would say that is a great example of normalized gender objectification. I would say no. I say this is a great example of gender discrimination towards women, and specifically objectifying women.
What you treat her how you meet her? Like, how does objectifying women? What am I doing?
You're literally objectifying a woman by how she dresses and your judgment off of what you think how she dresses. I think that usually when it comes to gender, I feel like a lot of us is cool with suspending our logic, bro. Think about it, man. If a white man said, I'ma treat the how I meet, I feel like you should be able to see the issue in it, right?
You gonna treat me how you meet? I mean, how you meet the nigga?
I'm gonna treat the nigga how I meet the nigga. If the nigga dressed like a thug, I'm gonna treat him like a thug. If I think the nigga's dressed like a tom, I'm gonna treat him like a tom. If I feel like he's dressed respectfully, I'm gonna treat him respectfully. If I feel like
he gonna do it anyway, but I feel you. Okay, you right.
Let's sit with that. He gonna do it anyway.
He gonna do it anyway.
Hey, how many times have we heard about a woman being called a hoe after a man approached her like a lady, and because he was rejected, she was rejected, because he was rejected, he still called her a hoe. So he gonna do it anyway.
He gonna do it anyway. Man.
I ain't even gotta even add no extra syllables up in it, just like shit. That's what that is.
How fix me on that? I feel that it's the right thing to do. Cause if I do the opposite, if I meet her in a whorish way and I treat her like a lady, I could be left looking foolish.
When you say whorish way,
man,
can you look that up? Can you look right there and unpack that for us? Like, can you define whorish way for the audience, please?
You know what I mean.
Can you provide any type of explanation for what that is? I think that's how we're gonna break it down. That's how we're gonna unpackage this.
It's a little loose. It's a little whorish for you to let me pop on the third night. That's a little loose, ain't it? That's a little. You know, I appreciate it, but that's a little loose. You know, if we necking, you let me touch you too much, or we getting a little too physical on the first interaction, the first persons. You let me do all of this in the first time.
This description, it takes the onus away from the almost, and it literally sensationalizes the, you know what I mean? Or it makes it as if the person that, like, you know, you got slept with as well. Like, everything that the woman is implicated in, you are equally implicated in, but the blame, the pathology is switched, and it's one-sided. You see what I'm saying? I think that's a part of the gender discrimination. We know that in terms of race, when we can point out that white folks can get away with shit that niggas can get away with, or white people have the freedom of transcendence to do what they want to do, and then niggas get objectified or discriminated against for doing it, we understand that's racial discrimination. In this instance, you feel me? I feel like you've greatly illustrated gender discrimination and showing how it is good for the goose, but it's not good for the gander. It's good for you to hit on the first night, but it's not good for you to give it up on the first night. That's the contradiction of power. You feel me? I think that this is one of the like simplest ways of being able to just expose the contradiction in gender equality. Because a lot of times we talk about gender discrimination, we want to put it on an even playing field. Like, women discriminate against men and men discriminate against women. Like reverse sexism type shit.
Yeah.
Like,
but not
black people are racist towards white people and white people are racist. Like,
yeah.
Even if you think that is true,
okay,
it does not negate the pattern.
Right.
Or the legacy.
Yeah.
Or the tradition or the custom normalization of men discriminating against women and men being violent towards women. And institutions and policies backing up the discrimination against women. I think that's something that's very important. A lot of us will put the conversation about gender on a level playing field, and we only view it through the individualistic lens, and we ignore the institutional implications. Meaning, I only care about how a woman can do me bad on the individual level, and I don't care about how all our systems is dominated by men, and how even when it comes to discrimination towards the women, the systems that's dominated by men will back up a man and whipping a woman's ass. I.e. Donald Trump being like, I don't think it's right for a man to have his life thrown out because him and this woman got into it. Editor, run the clip.
Shouldn't happen to him. What he's going through, 36 years ago, this happened. And a man's life is in tatters. A man's life is shattered. His wife is shattered. His daughters, who are beautiful, incredible young kids. They destroy people. They want to destroy people. These are really evil people.
I don't know. I'm stuck. I want to be fixed. I come to George Lee to get fixed. You know, he's
I'm just trying to have a conversation. And the reason why I want to have this conversation is because I think that it's very accessible. When I'm talking to you, I know that it's just, I feel comfortable with this plain talk, and I don't have to do a whole bunch of extra shit. You feel me? You've been knowing me since we was in high school. We've been best friends since high school. So it's like, you know what I mean? So it's just like, I ain't trying to fix you. I'm trying to illustrate what it looks like to have a healthy conversation where, you know, maybe there's a little disagreement. You feel me? Maybe there is a little distance between how I understand it, how you understand it, but I know through, you know, good faith conversation, we can have a way of having the stasis point.
Yes, I'm still
ask questions.
I'm stuck on trying to hearing that I need to get away from treat her how you meet her. Cause I feel like that's a principle that I need to keep hold of. That's a player rule. It seems like
it's a misogynistic rule that justifies discrimination towards women or the hatred towards women. You know, misogyny is defined as discrimination, hatred of women. So to me, it's like if you're talking about a woman, and
I hate you if I treat you accordingly.
We know
I'm
that,
not
like,
you whorish.
Think
I have
about
to
this.
treat
Think
you
about
whorish.
No. Think about this.
Huey P. Newton said that power is the ability to define the phenomenon and make it act in a desired manner. He said if you can make it act in a desired manner, you can figure out a way to navigate it, you can figure out a way to control it and or influence how it goes. And we understand how narratives act. Today, the phenomenon we're gonna be exploring is gender violence, or what some will call patriarchy. I'm gonna define that word for us. It is the system of domination or the system of power that politically, socially, economically traces that power and dominance through the man. My argument today will be about how gendered violence sustains a hierarchy of men over women, masculinity over femininity, boy over girl. A lot of the practices, customs, beliefs, traditions that we have sustains this patriarchy and is able to do it by the continuation of gender violence. Now, a lot of us as Black men specifically, we are able to get a lot of our sense of self through the way that we conform to the hierarchy of men over women, boy over girl, masculinity over femininity. There's a bunch of conversations about pandering, about sexism, and I think that about pandering and about simping. There's a lot of conversation about pandering and simping, and I think it's an appropriate conversation to think about how power and domination manifests itself. When it comes to thinking about power, it's important to recognize that power always wants to go unidentified. Power also always wants to go unnamed. And when you name power, when you identify power, it feels betrayed and it feels like you are now starting to pathologize this power because the power is being able to go unnamed. When we talk about sexism and patriarchy and misogyny and different ways that discrimination towards women, different ways that inferiority towards femininity gets inscribed, there are ways that individuals feel like that is calling out power too much and they feel like you're betraying the power. A lot of men, Black men particularly, they rocked with my content when I was giving the amazing analysis about white supremacy and about anti-Blackness and the ways in which institutions always structure itself by the hierarchy and power of white over Black, light over dark. And they was rocking with me in the research, in the experience, the knowledge and the research built up my understanding to be able to speak truth to power when it comes to racism, and that knowledge, that research is good. When it comes to thinking about how institutionalized power happens for gendered violence, that same research, that same knowledge is now held into question, and now it makes you a panderer or a simp. When it comes to power and domination, I'm gonna get real intersectional in every one of these. I'm calling this right here, this format, Research Over Mesearch, where we're able to interrogate the ways that power manifests itself politically, socially, and economically. And what I think when it comes to patriarchy, it's always a way that a lot of us conform to different modes of patriarchy without even recognizing how we do it. And within the internet right now, there's a lot of talk about what we call gender wars. And in these gender wars, there are a lot of different battles. I think that the way that these battles and dialogue and narratives around these battles, quote unquote, and the way we even think about and talk about gender wars, I think it's indicative of power. What I know is that there's been decades and centuries of practices and customs that's always justified how we wage violence towards women and how we are discriminatory towards women and how we are able to justify a way a man of being able to show his masculinity and dominance by how they are able to control women. That has been a narrative for a long time, and it wasn't seen as a gender war. A lot of us watched What's Love Got to Do With It when we see Ike beat the hell out of Tina, and we understood that this is a pattern, a history of gender violence that we all have all too familiar with. It's not seen as a gender war until the people that are facing the violence start to push back. Very similarly to the way in which power and domination also acts in backlash when we start talking about race.